Hello and welcome to the Mobilising Evidence and Knowledge webinar. My name is Louise Goswami and I work for Health Education England. I'm the Library and Knowledge Services lead that works across London and Kent, Surrey, Sussex. Also as part of this role, I nationally lead on the work associated with the Mobilising Evidence and Knowledge workstream. Also with me today is Alison Day. She is the lead for Library and Knowledge Services across East Dorset, but for the last 4 years she's also combined this role with a secondment working alongside me to help deliver the Mobilising Evidence and Knowledge workstream. So, what are we going to do today? Our aims for the session are as follows. We're going to provide an overview of the national priorities for the Mobilising Evidence and Knowledge workstream of Knowledge for Healthcare. We're going to share some examples of mobilising evidence and knowledge work that librarians and knowledge specialists are already doing to underpin decision making in their organisations. We're going to explore the range of resources available which you may wish to use to help you meet, sustain or develop your service in this area. We've also included some questions throughout the webinar to help you and your colleagues to think about how you may use some of the things we mention to conduct your baseline self-evaluation, identify your strength areas, gather suitable evidence, and most importantly, plan improvements and developments relating to mobilising evidence and knowledge for your organisations. Nationally, we have 3 priorities for mobilising evidence and knowledge. Our first is that NHS organisations apply and use evidence, build know-how, continue to learn and drive innovation. This includes advocacy about our NHS policy for provision of library and knowledge services across England, the #1,000,000 Decisions campaign, the benefits and impact of mobilising evidence. We're also looking to strengthen relationships with arm's length bodies and enable use of the self-assessment tool to set priorities. Our second national priority is that healthcare staff use the right tools and techniques to share their knowledge and learning to improve the quality of care, drive innovation and productivity. Our third national priority is that health librarians and knowledge specialists identify and implement business critical tools and techniques to better mobilise evidence and knowledge. For more information, you may want to look at our latest driver diagram on the Knowledge for Healthcare blog. Don't forget, this area of knowledge for healthcare and outcome 2 also encompasses the day-to-day, often well-established services provided by librarians and knowledge specialists, such as evidence search, appraisal, synthesis and summarising to inform clinical and non-clinical decision-making, ensuring the use of research evidence and best practice, current awareness, alerting and policy briefings to keep healthcare staff up to date, outreach and embedded activities working closely as a member of the healthcare team. So, some questions to consider. How do you ensure that your team has a shared understanding about this work? What from this work could you adopt and use locally? What are the strategic priorities of your organisation? And what are the national interventions that you could replicate locally to meet your own organisation's strategic objectives? So, what's in your toolbox? We're now going to talk a little bit about the tools and techniques that are available for you to use. We all agree healthcare is a knowledge-based industry. Sharing the know-how of staff using research evidence and implementing best practice are all business critical. The Knowledge Mobilisation Framework emphasises learning throughout an activity's life cycle, learning before, during and after. It provides a set of tools and techniques that are simple and quick to use that people can integrate into their daily practice to encourage continual learning, replication of good practice and avoidance of pitfalls. The tools and techniques facilitate learning and support strategic planning, operational delivery and sustainability. It is a cyclical process. Learning before can lead to learning during and learning after, which then feeds back into learning before. The title Knowledge Mobilisation Framework reflects a shift to using knowledge rather than just managing it as an asset. There are 11 techniques that are part of the knowledge mobilisation framework. Each one is described on a postcard or quick reference aid memoir card. So the answer truly is on a postcard. The cards are available both digitally at the link shown below, but we've also used printed sets to promote the framework, and they've proved extremely popular. Each postcard shows you how to undertake each technique and the expected duration of the activity. The colour coding is also important. It shows you whether they should be used before, during or after a particular activity. To complement the postcards, we've developed a suite of 11 e-learning modules featuring each technique. These resources are free to access via the e-learning for healthcare platform as well as via ESR. The e-learning programme incorporates a choosing tool to help people decide which tool may be best for them at a particular moment. Each module briefly introduces each technique, highlighting the benefits, provides a quick overview of how to do the technique, and invites participants to have a go at using the technique, either by completing a short activity or by planning use of the technique in a real-life situation. There are additional resources that can be found linked from the e-learning on the Learning Zone hosted on the Knowledge for Healthcare blog. 4 of the modules, Self-Assessment Tool, Peer Assist, Action Learning Set and Retrospect, also incorporate some video clips to show the techniques in use and the benefits of using them. As a learning before activity, the self-assessment tool is a simple framework that can be used to see how well an organisation is using evidence and organisational knowledge, and to assess opportunities to make better use of knowledge as an asset. There are 4 main sections with criteria relating to leadership behaviours, capabilities and working practices, and knowledge services. The statements in each section can be rated along a continuum starting from nothing in place to business as usual. The final section of the tool provides an opportunity to prioritise some initiatives to strengthen the use of external evidence and knowledge by an organisation. You can use the tool to assess your own service to give you ideas to inform your forward planning, and you can use the tool to shape a conversation with senior leaders, stakeholders, or the executive board in your organisation to demonstrate how mobilising evidence and knowledge activities can help them to meet their organisational priorities, and work with them to identify their requirements and to inform action plans, reviews and evaluations. You can find out more about using evidence and knowledge self-assessment tool by looking at the resources on the Knowledge for Healthcare blog. I am now going to hand you over to Alison, who will take you through the rest of the session.
Thank you, Louise. I hope you're all sitting comfortably, as I have a few knowledge stories to share with you. Humans have been telling stories for millennia, and storytelling is one of the most effective forms of communication we have at our disposal. I hope that you'll be able to use the stories about knowledge mobilisation to inspire you, your colleagues, and your organisations. So the first thing to ask is, what is already taking place? The Library Quality Assurance Framework in 2018 included a question about mobilising evidence and knowledge activities. From the submissions received, there was a wide range of activity taking place across England. The most popular knowledge management activities relate to organisation and reuse of knowledge in the form of repositories, intranet page design, and supporting the production and use of guidelines and policies. There were many examples of novel knowledge management sharing activities, including hello interviews for new staff, living library events, diversity calendars, guides to uniform, and lightning learnings to rapidly disseminate evidence request findings. Many services described facilitating knowledge sharing events, such as knowledge cafes and exchanges. Several services were involved in some form of activity to build or use corporate memory. This was often associated with celebrating NHS 70. 2 submissions stated an active role by library and knowledge service teams in developing a knowledge management strategy for their organisations. As you can see, there is already a lot taking place. Another place to go to find stories is the Knowledge Management Toolkit, which has been developed by librarians for librarians. You can find it on the Knowledge for Healthcare blog at the address at the foot of the page. It contains a range of tools that you can use with your organisations to share organisational learning, mobilising evidence and knowledge. The toolkit is arranged around 7 knowledge management goals and describes over 30 tools, techniques or activities that you can use with over 20 case studies from real librarians sharing what they have done to mobilise evidence and knowledge in their organisations. You can use these to get ideas for what you could do locally and can get in touch to learn from people who have already had a go. Listed are just 3 examples from the website. Internet chat rooms were developed at Pennine Care NHS Foundation Trust as a way to continue face-to-face discussions taking place in healthcare profession forums. The Knowledge Service set these up, promoted and encouraged participation via virtual discussion boards and use of the Trust intranet. Innovation forums were developed at Brighton and Sussex University Hospitals NHS Trust. Librarians and knowledge specialists joined a small team to devise a process for the Innovation Forum to successfully identify and support improvement and innovation projects. Lunch and Learns have been developed by the Health Education England Knowledge Management team to encourage regular opportunities for people to connect and share knowledge. The knowledge specialists organise a monthly once-a-month speaker and promote the sessions. During 2018, Library and Knowledge Services celebrated November 18 and used it as an opportunity to showcase the ways in which Library and Knowledge Services mobilise evidence and knowledge. Some fantastic activities were showcased at 4 regional events and individuals were asked to make a pledge about what they would do to celebrate November 18. Featured are just some of the pledges that were made. The Knowledge Management Community of Practice was also launched at this time to help bring people together with an interest in knowledge management to share ideas and support one another. November 19 will provide a further opportunity to celebrate mobilising evidence and knowledge activities and may help you to plan and prepare. So some questions you might like to consider. You might want to think about what you're already doing to help your organisation to use evidence and knowledge effectively. You might want to have a look at what colleagues are doing. You might want to think about what would make a difference to your organisation, or what could you adapt for your own local organisation. You certainly want to think about who you could speak to get further information and who you can speak to in your organisation to take this further. So you might want to think now about getting your team on board. Have a team discussion about how well NHS decision making in your organisation is underpinned by high quality evidence and knowledge mobilised by skilled library and knowledge specialists. Are you at red? It's interesting, but you're not sure what you could put into place. Are you at amber? You're interested, but you're not quite sure what to do next. Or are you at green? You've got lots of ideas and you're ready to prepare a plan. You've got a plan or a starter for 10. So here are some suggestions for what you might want to do next. If you're at green, get planning, have a go, and maybe think about using the self-assessment tool to help you. If you're at amber, maybe answer the questions in this webinar. Explore the Knowledge Management Toolkit, the Knowledge Mobilisation Framework, the Knowledge Management Community of Practice, or the November 18 resources, and then develop a plan. Remember, all of these are available on the Knowledge for Healthcare blog. If you're at red, think about the business need for doing this activity, and then think about who you could speak to about it, and then move on to amber so you can start planning. Don't forget to also take a look at the Health Literacy and Patient and Public Information webinar for further ideas. And don't forget that some of the work you are doing around mobilising evidence and knowledge may also be relevant to other quality outcomes. Finally, thank you for watching. Enjoy exploring the tools, techniques and stories that are there to help you. And if you need any further information, please just get in touch.